Hi, this video is to show how to go about creating a basic gearbox with gears produced and 3D printed using Tinkercad. So I'm going to begin with the top view and an orthographic view of my Kidwin gearbox project. Okay, now I'm going to import some STL files. Here I have my pinion as an STL, and I'm also going to import the 80-tooth gear, which I have in my downloads from Tinkercad as an STL here. Okay, notice that they import on top of each other, and I think possibly pretty well centered. So I can just drag one of these, and you see that they are two separate files. Now I'm not going to be able to ungroup or do any editing to this after bringing it in as an STL file. That information is lost. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is use the R key or click ruler to set a ruler somewhere here near the middle, maybe a little closer to one end to leave room for my gearbox geometry. I'll set that ruler, and now I'm going to take my pinion gear and click my top view, and again make sure I'm on orthographic. I don't want the perspective view. Now right now we're set to use endpoint or use midpoint. If I click here, this ruler will measure the distance, the X and Y distance from the ruler center to the end point of the gear. I of course want to use these midpoints or these centers. Okay, so I'm going to center this gear up. It looks like it's already zeroed on the X, and I'm going to type in 0 on the Y. Now I have my pinion gear centered here. Okay, if I click on the gear itself, first thing I'll do is make sure that that's zeroed on the X. Now this center distance here is a value that can be calculated, and I have this gear calculator I created in a Google Sheet that will tell me if I'm using a module 1 gear and I have 80 teeth on one of the gears and 10 teeth on the pinion. This has calculated that my center distance should be 45 millimeters. Okay, so things are all lined up here. I just need to change this value to negative because the gear is below the pinion, negative 45. Of course, we're working in millimeters. Okay, now if I zoom in, we should find that we have a rather perfect mesh. Now with gears, I mean, it is nice to be able to adjust this distance a little bit, but I think we will design this gearbox to have bearings and the shafts go through these gears according to that 45 millimeter center distance.